For Creamer Media's Polity, I'm Sane Dhlamini. Researcher and analyst Professor Raymond Suttner joins me to discuss the two centers of power within the ANC. Welcome, Professor.
Hello.
Hi. How can there be two centers of power within the ANC and the ANC as well as the state supposed to be separate?
Yes, no, there shouldn't be two centers of power within the ANC. The ANC is one, will be one of their slogans, and unity will be another slogan. But clearly in the last few weeks we've seen a situation where Cyril Ramaphosa says he's talking to Zuma and he's trying to do something dignified, meaning dignified departure, and you have Jesse Duarte and Ace Magashule both saying there's no resolution for him to leave. He's staying here till 2019, I think, according to Duarte. But also you have a situation where there is apparently a decision regarding the composition of the interim structures to organize re-elections in KZN and Free State. Presumably, I've not seen the resolution, presumably it was to have an interim structure that is non-partisan, that can't be accused of rigging the elections and all that. But Magashule appointed teams which predominantly comprise anti-Ramaphosa people who were in the Nkosazana Dhlamini Zuma camp during the ANC elections, and the chair of the commission interim structure in KZN is the former chair of the KZN provincial structure, which was declared illegal by the courts, Sikhle Zikalala. So that I think Super Zuma is also there and a few others. There are 4 people, I think, out of 16 who are not from the anti-Ramaphosa camp. In a Free State, apparently, he's done something similar. So you definitely do have a situation where, as I say in my article, the president of the ANC is also an official in government. So Ramaphosa cannot be full-time in ANC headquarters, which Ace Magashule and Jesse Duarte are paid to be there. And consequently, they can do things in ANC headquarters which undermine Ramaphosa. And in my view, that is what they are doing. And consequently, they are trying to strengthen the hands of people who are anti-Ramaphosa. In fact, in Pietermaritzburg, Ace Magashule is not a very subtle guy, you know. He goes there and he sings a song about traitors. He also says, people, 2022 is not so far away, and we'll get the ANC that we know back then. In other words, ANC that is elected to serve now is not the ANC that he knows. So that's what I mean. There are two contradictory forces operating within the ANC. ANC of Ramaphosa, ANC of Ace Magashule.
And do you think maybe Cyril Ramaphosa will be able to make meaningful decisions having Ace Magashule as well as Jesse Duarte amongst the top 6?
Well, you see, he is concentrated, since his election as ANC president, he's concentrated on making things happen in government in order to create confidence in him as a leader of the country. He has not focused on the ANC now as much, okay? And Anthony Butler had a very interesting article in Business Day last week where he argued that it is a mistake to suggest that the ANC is actually the center of power. Things happen in government whether or not the ANC wants that. The ANC makes a decision the processes it has to go through in order to make it a law or a policy of government are quite separate from that of the ANC, and the ANC doesn't really have much say over it. Now, Ramaphosa has concentrated on those things, and they don't directly involve the ANC. But he does need the ANC. He is ANC president, so he does need the ANC, and the ANC needs him, because in his public persona, he has strengthened the image of the ANC in the public and strengthened the possibility of the ANC being elected in 2019. So coming back to your question, right now the ANC is involved in meetings at a national level to decide the fate of Jacob Zuma. So in that sense, he is trying to harness what support he has in the ANC in order to remove Zuma. Now, that's a very different thing from going and say, Eskom, change your board, or don't sell this, or state capture investigations, get these going. Those things, you don't go and put them, you may put them before an NEC meeting or an NWC meeting, but the ANC is not directly involved because that is government. But now there was an office bearers meeting on Sunday night, there was a National Working Committee meeting last night, and there is a National Executive Committee meeting tomorrow. And so Cyril Ramaphosa, what happens in that meeting, if Ace Magashule remains Secretary General, will not determine whether Cyril Ramaphosa can drive the ANC. But there are things closing in on Magashule, possible state capture investigations relating to the Vrede farm, but I'm sure there are many other cases that will emerge in the future regarding Magashule, which may well see him being put on trial and things like that.
So you've touched on the meetings on Sunday, allegedly to ask President Jacob Zuma to step down. Is this a problem because it didn't happen? Is this a problem of having two centers of power?
I think it's separate from two centers of power. You mean two centers of power in the ANC? Or
Yes.
Yes, well, I mean, it's what it me when that's related to it, that you don't have unanimity. But I think even if you had unanimity amongst the officials, President Zuma is not the sort of person who is swayed very easily to do things different from what he wants, what he thinks is good for himself. And I think that the Jesse Gerard and Ace Magashule may well have been very quiet in that meeting, because they know that if Jacob Zuma goes, they're going to have to work with Cyril Ramaphosa. So they may go and make these statements at meetings, but simultaneously they will take care of their future, and they may not, I don't know, I was not there, they may not have spoken out against Zuma stepping down.
And do you think Cyril Ramaphosa can be able to resolve this issue of two centers of power within the ANC?
Well, I'm saying in this article that the only way you really resolve this thing, the two centers represent two visions. You need an overriding ethical vision, overriding strategic vision, and I'm not sure that the ANC has that. I'm not sure that there's no evidence that the leadership of Ramaphosa and those who support him are advancing that. Certainly in regard to regularization, ending illegal actions, ending stealing from the fiscus, they are advancing ethical values. But in regard to a broad vision that will provide a better life for all, I have not seen that.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you.
That was Professor Raymond Suttner speaking to Crema Media's Polity about the two centers of power within the ANC.